What's going on, you guys? Riley here. Today we're doing a review on a brand new Camaro model that is brand new for 2020. It is called the LT1 Camaro. Now essentially what the LT1 Camaro is a V8 Camaro that looks like a V6 Camaro, or a V6 Camaro with the powertrain of a V8 Camaro. Kind of interesting. So behind me I've got two LT1 Camaros. I have a black automatic and then I have a gray 6-speed manual. So whether your preference is auto or manual, congratulations, we have both. Also, I just realized that if these were two Mustangs, then I'd be standing in a really deadly spot, so good thing they're Camaros. So today I figured we'd take a nice in-depth look at the new 2020 LT1 Camaros. Now you might be asking yourself, Riley, why are you so excited to be showing off an LT1 Camaro? Well, my friends, that is because of their price point. This is huge. So to my left, you're right. This is going to be our 10-speed automatic LT1 Camaro with not a single other option to it. The price on this bad boy, MSRP with destination, is $36,590. That is the cheapest 10-speed V8 Camaro that has ever existed. And then to my right, we have a 6-speed manual LT1 2020 Camaro. The manual, $34,995 MSRP, that's with destination and all that included. So for under $35,000 MSRP, you can get a V8 Camaro, and that is pretty darn cool, whether you want a manual or an automatic. Two great choices, so let's take a look and see what 35 grand will get you. So keep in mind, these are both the cheapest possible LT1 Camaros that you can order. So this one in particular is the absolute cheapest one you can order, being a 6-speed manual. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the window sticker real quick. They're exactly the same on both cars except for their miles per gallon and their transmission choice, of course. So the 10-speed will be a little bit more expensive. But there you go, total vehicle price, $34,995, not a single option on this thing. That's pretty cool to see. And right there, your fuel economy information. It claims 24 highway, but I would bet you a lot of money it'd be better than that. So yeah, there's your little window sticker, $34,995. That is pretty darn impressive. And now, why is this so impressive, you ask? So when you look at the Camaro's competition, the Mustang and Challenger might come to mind. The cheapest way you can get a V8 Challenger, the Challenger RT, is $35,790, so that's more expensive than this guy here. And also the cheapest way you can get a 2019, or really 2020 Ford Mustang GT is $36,350. Now both of those numbers are MSRP numbers, including their destination charges. So nowadays you can get a V8 Camaro for even cheaper than the competition. So now that you know just how good of a deal the car is, let's talk about what does that actually get you. So like I said, it has the body styling of the V6 Camaros, which honestly, after the new redesign, I actually like them. I think they're pretty darn cool. So with that, you also get the SS hood. So you have this nice little hood vent here in the center. And then coming down to the front, you do get some 4-piston Brembo brakes. Now with that, you don't get the wider wheels and tires and all that other stuff that you would get once you upgrade to a 1SS, but you still get a bunch of nice options such as keyless entry, Apple CarPlay, remote start. If you have an automatic, you still get a backup camera, leather-wrapped steering wheel. I mean, you still get a lot of stuff for your money, to be quite honest with you. Just the tires and wheels aren't exactly the widest options. And by widest option, I mean they're extremely skinny. So you have some 245 width, all-season tires there on the rear of these things. So you might ask yourself, well, how does that translate to putting the power down to the ground? Well, not very well. They kind of like to spin all over the place, which makes them extremely fun in my opinion. But where I think these cars are really cool is two different ways you could go about owning one of these and modifying them. Number one, you could buy one of these, take off the little LT1 fender badge here. Everybody would think at first glance you have a V6 Camaro, you could do a bunch of modifications to the engine and have an extremely fast, unsuspecting Camaro. Option number two is that this is a great platform to build off of. So you buy one of these, get some lowering springs, different wheels and tires, add a front splitter to it, put a spoiler on the back, get some ladder exhaust, and then do all your performance modifications. This is a great bang for your buck little starter package that is pretty much just a an open canvas and you can really do whatever you want with them. And like I said, these two cars have 0 options from the factory. There are options that you can equip them with from the factory, but we wanted to purposely build our first two the cheapest possible way, because that's kind of the cool factor about them, is that they're really cheap V8 Camaros, and that's impressive. I'm sure most of you are pretty familiar with the LT1 engine in the new Camaro starting in 2016. 455 horsepower, 455 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 times are right about 4 seconds or so. The quarter mile's done in about 12.5. Kind of depends on the driver, the tires condition, and everything like that. But like I was saying earlier, this car is such an amazing starting point, just because, like I said, you do get the 4-piston Brimbos in the front, but look at these little guys in the back. That thing is just ready for a drag setup. You can go buy some welds, strap some welds or race stars, whatever drag pack you want on the back of this thing, add an exhaust, you know, if you want to do a cold air intake, a tune, and like all kinds of aftermarket stuff, you can do that. And these things would be so fast because they're such lightweight. I think when we were calculating the weight on the manual, it was like 3,652 pounds, I believe is what it came out to. And then the automatic, I think, was right about 3,700 pounds. I think it was about 50 pounds more for the automatic. So 3650-ish weight. I mean, that's really not that much. And they feel very light on their feet. They're on the Alpha chassis. I mean, these cars are quick, they look good, they're relatively inexpensive when you compare it to the competition and just everything else that has been out for the last few years. I mean, this is like that first car that I've gotten really excited about and kind of giddy about for, you know, a relatively inexpensive cost. But yeah, you gotta love a good old Chevy small block V8 shoved in a little chassis that is known for its great handling capabilities. And I think it's time for us to go take these out for a little spin right after I show you guys the interior. Also, don't expect a very wonderful sounding exhaust from the factory. It's extremely just basic. So you probably want to change that out if you want some more oomph behind your right foot. But moving on into the interior now. But the interior, you may notice the little screen up here is actually the screen from like the V6 and 4-cylinder Camaros. So it's kind of basic. If you want to upgrade to the 1SS, that's when you get the nicer screen, and also you get the nicer screen here on a 1SS. But even still, this little screen here, you have your satellite radio, you got Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Something the Mustangs definitely cannot say on their little tiny work truck screen. So that's nice that even in the most base form, you still have a nice little touch screen here that looks just about like the other main touchscreen. It's just a little bit smaller. This is a 7-inch screen and the other one is just over 8. But aside from the screen, just about everything else is the same that you would find in a 1SS. Of course, this one's a 6-speed manual, and you got your mode select here, traction control, parking brake, cup holders, and everything else is the same as a 1SS Camaro in here. The cloth seats are really comfortable, and the back seats are there if you want to put something there. Notice I said something, not necessarily someone, because they're not exactly the most comfortable, but they do work in a pinch. Also, something else that comes standard here on the manual is rev match. So you have rev match standard on the LT1s, which is pretty cool as well. So I think that's just about enough talking about these things. I think you guys have a general gist of both of the cars. I'll show you guys the automatics interior just to show you it is exactly the same. Boom, ta-da, there's your automatic, but everything else is just about the same. And then the window sticker on this car, as you can see, the only thing here is a 10-speed automatic. After the $995 destination charge, $36,590. And in comparison, that's about, I don't know, $2,500 or so cheaper than a 1SS with a 10-speed automatic or with a manual here. So about $2,500 less, and this is what it gets you. We decided to take out the 6-speed manual car first, and then we'll go grab the automatic. But like I said, it is very cool that these cars include the rev matching, even though you can't hear it at all. Man, these mufflers must be huge. But yeah, that'd be the first thing I would change, is it needs a different exhaust. It's super quiet. Almost sounds like a V6, but you do have the V8 obviously. So this is just second gear, and you kind of roll onto it. And that's just a nice little ease into second gear. And although it probably doesn't sound like it, the car is very quick. And that's coming from somebody who drives a Zl1 on a daily basis. I mean, you watch the speedometer climb, and these things are such an underrated car. Nobody really knows about them. And I just think that's cool that you can kind of get like a base car for, you know, a relatively inexpensive price that still is really comfortable, looks good, and it's just a clean slate. Like, do whatever you want to it. Now, I love manuals just as much as the next guy. However, I think with this platform, I think it would be pretty cool to get the 10-speed automatic and make a drag car out of it, essentially. With that good of a transmission, where you don't have to worry about a clutch and shifting and everything else, it's such a good platform to just make a race car with. And I think a lot of people, as they find out about these cars, are gonna think the same thing and be like, aha, that's genius. If you're just looking for a car to go out and have some fun in, and you're not looking to drag race anybody, but you're wanting something that's quick and handles good and yada, 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 then I think the manual is definitely a great option for you. But, man, you don't hear anything. I don't know if any noise at all is coming across on the mic, but I don't hear anything. So one good thing about the LT1, and specifically the manual, is that everything is leather wrapped in this car. So in my Zl1, everything is wrapped in suede, microfiber, Alcantara material, but I actually prefer the leather. To me, it just feels better, and the microfiber stuff just kind of gets matted down and just doesn't feel that great. So I actually prefer this to my personal car. And not only that, but it's extremely easy to drive. The clutch is super easy in this car. It's way easier than the Zl1, which has a twin disc clutch. So that can be a little bit tricky. This is just like butter. The transmission, Tremec 6-speed, I mean, there's like no complaints about those ever in history. But pretty much, you know, what Chevrolet was going after is just kind of the simplicity is best mentality, and it's true. It's a very simple car, yet everything works. It's great, it's comfortable, and it does the job, and I really like it. So let's go put this one back and let's go grab the automatic. So what does $1,595 get you over the manual? Well, it gets you a 10-speed automatic transmission that shifts very, very fast. Now, I was not a huge fan of the 10-speed before I drove it. I thought 10 speeds, that's a little unnecessary and kind of excessive. And then I drove one and I said, oh, I actually do like it. It's pretty solid. So whereas the manual gets an EPA claimed 24 highway miles per gallon, the automatic gets a claimed 27 highway miles per gallon. So you will get better gas mileage with the automatic. Not only that, it is definitely faster. So if I punch it, you can probably hear this one a little bit more than the manual does. That sounds pretty decent. So the automatic is just a totally different animal. I gotta say, like, for somebody who loves manuals, I think I would get the automatic in this car. I really do. And you know, I even said that when I bought my Zl1. I said I would have bought a 10-speed automatic Zl1 if I, you know, found one, or if the deal came up on one. Just happened to find a good deal on a manual car. To me, it really doesn't matter. I like both. But the 10 speeds are no joke. You could make this thing a serious race car, and this is just like the perfect starting platform, and I can't wait to see videos and photos and stuff when people get their hands on these cars and start doing stuff to them, because that's going to be really exciting. I'm just cruising right now in 4-cylinder mode. We are doing 50 miles per hour, and it says my instant fuel economy is 45 miles per gallon. That's pretty good. One thing I will say though is that you do feel like it's not exactly the most planted in the corners, being only on some 245 width all-season tires. Not exactly the best handling platform the way it sits currently, but you get some wider wheels and tires, and you're still on the Alpha chassis, and everything would be better then. But I think that'd probably be my first set of upgrades: is wheels and tires, a front splitter, a rear spoiler, exhaust, and lowering springs. Do all of that, I think it would be sitting perfect, look great. I kind of thought having the more basic screen here in front of me and the more basic screen over here as well would bother me, thinking it was kind of cheap. But really, when you're driving, I mean, it doesn't really matter. They're just a little bit different screens, but ultimately they do the exact same thing. In this screen, you can still get your fuel economy, oil life, tire pressures. You can get a whole bunch of stuff in here. Wow, this is pretty cool. You also still get your 0 to 62 miles per hour timer. For whatever reason, you can't set it from 0 to 60. It's just 0 to 62 or 57, but you can't do 0 to 60. Man, that's a deal breaker. but you can still go through here and see what G-forces you're pulling and the different, you know, fluid temperatures and stuff like that. So you do still get a lot of cool infotainment stuff for your money. And like I was saying earlier, you still get Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Bluetooth. I mean, all the stuff that you really want is still included with the base car. And lastly, I'll leave you guys on a nice little back road corner to see how I think about the handling. Definitely does not handle like a ZL1. It feels like steering is not exactly the most direct. It all goes back to those super skinny tires on all four corners. Change the tires to some wider ones, it'll be a lot better. It just feels kind of loose and not very confidence inspiring with just how skinny these things are from the factory, but that's part of what makes it kind of fun, is when you put your foot down and you're in first or second gear, it's going to be all over the road, which that's exciting. But as I said, with the automatic and zero options, $36,590. That is a deal. That's the MSRP, and then whatever discounts and rebates and incentives and stuff are going on. Man, this is definitely one heck of a value, and I can't say enough good things about the LT1. Just go into it expecting to, you know, not buy a fully loaded car. I'm gonna send it back to us at the dealership, and then we'll close this video out, but hopefully you enjoyed so far all the stuff with the LT1 Camaro. All right, so to end this video, I thought of something fun to do maybe once a month or so. Would be just kind of go over what our current inventory is over at good old Parkway Chevrolet. So this is our line of most of our Camaros. This guy right here is a 2019 1SS 1LE, so that one's pretty cool. We also have an identical twin to this, but it's a 2020, but it's all blacked out. That's a 1SS 1LE as well. So it'd be kind of funny to park the 19 1LE and the 20 1LE next to each other. So look forward to that on Instagram, because that'll happen soon. But yeah, that's a nice looking 1LE, and then the rest of our Camaros here. It's kind of funny, you can't really tell the LT1s and then the V6s is really apart from the front. Here's a good old, well actually this is a 4-cylinder. Actually this is a used car, I don't know what that's doing here. That thing's confused, it doesn't know what it is. And then we've started getting our first batch of 2020 Camaros, like I said. So in my opinion, it looks a whole lot better with the bow tie placement there in the grille instead of on the little bumper part. So this is actually the first one we got. We spec'd it white, black wheels, and wait for it. Oh, you can't really see it. Wait for it, wait for it. You can't see it still. But there's some red leather in there, which looks absolutely sweet. So that was kind of the first traditional spec we did for our 2020s, and it looks so good in person. And yeah, then the LT1 that we drove a minute ago. Now moving over to our little line of Corvettes. This is just a few of them. We got anything from Stingrays to Grand Sports. This is one of the last times you'll ever see C7s on a dealership lot being sold new. And one of my coworkers the other day, when some of these cars were coming off the shipment truck, he was like, hey, go get your camera. And I was like, why? They're just backing them off the trailer. And he's like, dude, and you know, several months from now, that's not going to be a thing anymore. And he's right. Several months from now, we'll be unloading C8s off of a trailer rather than C7s. So it's definitely kind of bittersweet to see these cars, you know, go away, but definitely cool to see some of the last ones here. So we still have about, I think, 15 more or so that are yet to be produced and then shipped to us. So yeah, got a nice little final hoorah of C7s, but this is just a few of them here, and I got some more that we just got in. And then another car that we just got traded in for a Silverado is going to be this here 2018 Zl1 Camaro that the previous owner actually took the spoiler off and got it professionally painted gloss black, which is what I plan to do with mine. I think that looks really, really good. Also, he went and painted the mirrors gloss black as well, which I didn't really think about, but it looks pretty sweet. But this guy's a 2018 ZL1. It's got the carbon fiber insert on the hood, on the dash, red seat belts, sunroof, and about 20,000 miles. So this one's a really clean spec. The guy took really good care of it. I can't see really anything wrong with it. So that's a pretty sweet deal. Someone's gonna get a nice car there. But I don't know, I just thought this would be kind of fun to show you guys some of the cool stuff we get once a month or so. I try to limit most of my postings on the dealership stuff to my Instagram story, but maybe once a month on YouTube, you guys can see some stuff. I don't want to oversaturate it and make you guys think this is turning into a all Chevy channel, but it is kind of cool to show off some fun cars every now and again. Aha, here we are with the other 2020 1LE I was talking about earlier. So picture the one I showed you earlier, now picture this one here with the Chevy emblem in a different spot. I think that looks pretty freaking sweet. Definitely looks really wide in the front, but yeah, that is That's one of the all-time favorite cars out there, is an SS1LE. They're so much fun. It's a lot of car for the money, really, and just nobody really knows about them. And then I believe we got a couple more. Aha, here they are. A couple more Camaros. We just got a satin steel manual ZL1. The other one was an automatic, forgot to mention that. And then next to that, we have a 2SS1LE that I of course ordered garnet red to match the good old ZL1. This thing is pretty sweet. And then a orange, I think this is a 1SS with orange brake calipers, which is a new thing for 2020. You can now order red or orange brake calipers on the SS's. So that actually is pretty cool. I haven't actually looked at this one up close, but I actually really like that. So yeah, not a bad lineup of Camaros here. The satin steel ZL1 has the carbon fiber on the hood and the dash and a 6-speed manual, and I think that's really all we put on this one, but yeah, fun times. And the last car I'll show you guys for the day is this brand new 2019 C7 Zo6, one of our final Z06s to show up. We ordered two identical twins of this car. We ordered one automatic and one manual. This one is the automatic. We went kind of Sebring orange heavy because 2019 was the first year that they introduced Sebring orange to the Corvette platform, and then it's the last year of the front engine platform. So we figured some people would want a, you know, a 1-year color on the front engine car. You get what I'm saying? But aside from all of that stuff, I think Sebring orange looks really, really good on these cars, and this one just got off the truck, so it's missing the front splitter and the center caps on the wheels and all that good stuff. But it's really cool working here, getting to see these cars just show up bare bones and then get pieced together. All right, well, we'll go ahead and end this video here. We got the RP Prods plates back on the good old ZL1. Here's one of my coworkers' ZL1s. It's just, you get a ZL1, you get a ZL1, everyone gets a ZL1. So let's go ahead and do a nice little kind of cold start. Drove it a little bit earlier, but good old Corsa. Definitely a little bit louder than the other Camaros. So that pretty much wraps up today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the LT1 content. Hopefully maybe you enjoyed showing you all around to some of the other cool stuff that we have available. We still have a whole bunch of stuff on our used lot that it's just too darn hot to show you guys stuff. It's like 101 degrees, 102 degrees today in September, which is not fun. But maybe next month, if you guys seem to like the showing off the cool stuff portion of the video, then I'll show you guys what we have on the used inventory, or you can just visit our website and everything's listed up there. But yeah, to those who care at all about how sales is going and everything at Parkway, so far so good. Last week was the end of August, and I sold 2 brand new ZR1s back-to-back days, which was kind of cool. It's the first and then second time to ever sell a ZR1, and it was on a Friday and then a Saturday, so that was kind of cool. And definitely sad to see those cars go. I think we just have one more, and then that's it, and then we're done. And I don't know, it's bittersweet seeing the C7 Corvette go away, but I'm really excited to drive a mid-engine Corvette and see what that's all about. That should be fun. Whoops. But yeah, everything at Parkway is going pretty good so far, and I enjoy it. It's dang it. But like I was saying, everything at Parkway is going good for me so far. I'm enjoying it. Get to play with race cars every day, and it's just it's pretty fun. But I promise there will be some non-Chevrolet content coming to the channel very soon, and got some fun stuff in store. Also still have a bunch more stuff I need to do with this guy on video that will be coming out shortly as well. Put a roto fab on it a couple days ago, so I don't know if you can hear the whine on the camera or not, but definitely the roto fab cold air intake made a difference. So that'll be a video for another time, but hope you guys have enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.